Up with KREM begins now.
Good morning. It's 6 o'clock here on your Thursday. Thanks so much for joining us here on Up with KREM and streaming on KREM 2 Plus. I'm Tim Pham. Well, we are one day closer to the weekend and one day to that forecast that Thomas has been telling us about all week. Thomas, we just got to get through one more day of a chance for some showers before the warm weather moves in.
Yeah, and the weather this week hasn't been the worst, just not been the best. Maybe just like a B minus at times out there. It's a little bit colder this morning as well. Our current temperature is well into the 30s, so just one of those chillier April mornings. Again, not the worst I've ever seen for April, but certainly could have just been a lot better. But 35, mostly cloudy skies over Spokane as of right now. But we are once again just keeping an eye on Doppler radar. But at this hour of the morning, when our temperatures are in the 30s, I'm not surprised to see a bit of blue on the map. Looks like it's not just mountain showers, though it is just north of the interstate, so north of 4th of July Pass, north of the Silver Valley at the moment. But you can follow that through St. Mary's, through Tico, through St. John, and even out towards Washtenaw. Looks like there's a little streak of some snowfall that's just trying to fall over areas of the Palouse. Shouldn't be sticking to the ground, if anything, but don't be surprised if you see some snowflakes again early this morning before it warms up later this afternoon.
Let's take it live now outside to I-90 and Jefferson in downtown Spokane. Looking east right now, you can see some of that westbound traffic starting to pick up at this hour, but no major slowdowns on our freeways and highways. We'll keep a close eye on the traffic situation all morning long and let you know if there's any slowdowns. On Up with KREM, we bring you weather and traffic together every 30 minutes. This morning, reaction is pouring in after President Trump announced a new sweeping round of tariffs. The president dubbed yesterday Liberation Day, freedom from what he calls unfair trading practices by other countries. Yesterday, President Trump announced a baseline 10% tariff for all U.S. trading partners, which will go into effect on Saturday. Then 1 week from today, reciprocal tariffs will begin for hundreds of countries. These are a couple of the most notable ones: 34% for China, 20% for the European Union, and a whopping 49% for Cambodia. Russia is not on the list of new tariffs. Trump praised the move, while economists warn tariffs will drive up the price of goods for American consumers.
Such horrendous imbalances have devastated our industrial base and put our national security at risk.
I think a lot of goods that we're used to coming into the United States simply won't be affordable anymore, but mainly because it will be a tax on the Americans, and it will distort consumption decisions.
This morning, experts are warning of further isolation for the United States, predicting countries once dependent on trade with the U.S. will shift to trading more among themselves. While Trump argues higher tariffs will boost domestic manufacturing, critics worry about sharp price hikes in the meantime. The president's new tariffs are affecting Washington tulip farmers. In Skagit Valley, the annual tulip festival brings in about $83 million to the region. But since talk of tariffs, there has been a border backlash against America. Our Seattle station reports crossings from British Columbia to the U.S. have dropped by 43%. Now, tulip farmers are asking Americans from Bellingham to Boise to come to these fields and support Skagit County in the absence of Canadian visitors.
Remind Americans what Americans do best, and that is we show up in times that are good and in times that are more of a struggle.
About 40% of the visitors to the Tulip Festival come from out of state. One estimate shows half of those come from Canada. So how could tariffs affect you? Let's take a closer look at cars specifically. According to a recent analysis, almost half of cars sold in the U.S. last year could be subject to tariffs. About 16 million cars were sold. You can see just over 8 million domestically, leaving all of these coming in from other countries. So a large portion from Mexico and South Korea. But how much could it end up costing you? Goldman Sachs estimates these tariffs will tack on another $5,000 to $15,000 per car, meaning a $25,000 car could now cost you anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000. While there is a potential price hike to cars, there comes the question of how it'll impact auto shops in charge of fixing them. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy spoke with the owner of a local auto repair shop to learn more about the uncertainty they're facing.
Spokane's C&H Foreign Auto Repair sees car after car for repairs and general maintenance. It's owner Scott Cushman's family business.
I've been actually running and owning it for 8 years. Father started it actually in 1977.
It's a business Cushman says relies heavily on the business's European warehouses across the United States. Those warehouses get all their parts from Europe and Asia. Those continents are just a few of many areas President Donald Trump set tariffs against. That's 34% on imports from China on top of the existing 20% tariff and 20% on the European Union. President Trump says this is an attempt to boost the making of goods and services in the U.S. Cushman says it'll hit his and his customers' wallets hard.
We'll see a cost increase, I'm sure, on parts. We'll also see, I think, more in automotive repair and maintenance because I think people won't be buying as many new cars because possibly of the tariffs that are going to be coming our way.
It's an uncertainty Cushman isn't a fan of.
It creates a little bit of frustration and a little bit of unknowns and uncertainties.
But he says that's not stopping him and his staff from serving their customers.
Just keeping everybody's vehicle obviously on the road dependable and reliable.
Keeping their work reliable while the world trading climate is anything but.
It's going to be a business impact, and we'll just have to accept it as we need to and adjust as we need to as well.
We're learning more about federal cuts of Head Start programs from the Trump administration, which may impact families across the inland Northwest. KREM 2's Regan Gallo joining us now in the newsroom. Regan, what does this mean for local Head Start programs? Good morning.
Good morning, Tim. Well, President Trump appointed Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has closed a regional Head Start office serving 4 Northwest states. Head Start provides early education to 15,000 children across Washington state and 4,000 children in Idaho. Joel Ryan with the Washington State Association of Head Start says there's been no communication from the federal government on how that funding will be handled moving forward. He says the worst case scenario is some programs close due to delayed grants.
I think what's probably more likely is that those programs won't get the training and support they need. They won't get somebody looking at child safety issues. They won't get people supporting the operation of the program. I mean, these are really, the people who work at the regional office are public servants.
We did reach out to Spokane Community Colleges, which runs Head Start programs in Spokane. We were told SCC is aware of the closure of the regional office, but no one was available to answer our questions. We will continue following these developments as we get them, but for now, reporting in the newsroom, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
Meantime, the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE, could be ending at some point, along with Elon Musk's time in the President Trump's administration. This week, President Trump said Musk would return to running his companies at some point, and DOGE will eventually stop operating. The move comes as Tesla faces a 13% drop in sales at the start of this year. Right now, the White House has not disclosed any sort of timeline for closing DOGE, but it's been stated the department was not ever supposed to be a permanent fixture, and now DOGE employees are starting to shift to other federal agencies.
It is 6:09 on this Thursday morning. Another look at our weather forecast. We'll start with temperatures across the metro region, which has been pretty cold this morning, getting closer to that freezing mark, so you'll definitely need a slightly heavier jacket for today. I see 33 degrees up at Whitworth University, 33 as well as Deer Park to mark some of the colder spots. It's been kind of flirting with 32 and flirting with that freezing mark so far this morning. And we're still not done with these rain shower chances. We'll leave it as a chance for this morning, but likely a few scattered showers, mainly for North Idaho into this afternoon.